Thank you for visiting the Coin Lady channel again. Listen up, guys. In around 2 weeks, something big is going to happen with Bitcoin ETH. During the halving occurrence, where will the price go? Shall we ascend again? Or will we descend once more? In this episode, I received your covenant. As we've discussed previously, SWIFT is simply a consortium of banks, but there appears to be some information, or a document circulating that shows SWIFT's connection into Ripplenet. So, let's talk about that as well. We already know that many SWIFT network banks are Ripple partners and have access to on-demand liquidity. They can only resist for so long before giving in. I believe this is exactly what's happening, and it couldn't happen at a better time, as we're currently experiencing a tremendous bull run, a crypto cycle that will send crypto to numbers you never imagined possible. So, let's go right into a Bitcoin without further ado. $66.0203 right now. It's up 1.06%. Ethereum has gained 0.5% in the last day, reaching $3,312. T is exactly where you want it to be. It adds $1 to the peg, and you, as DC, fall slightly below it, coming in at 99 cents, with a mean lean of 58 cents on the one and only XRP, increasing it to 6%. This time yesterday, the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies was $2,520 billion. Let me tell you something, the markets are now in a very precarious phase. We warned you about the possibility of a drop into the $60,000 to $70,000 range, where there is an unfilled CME gap. Although that was the first stop, a liquidity grab of $60,000 to $64,000 is still possible. We can yet pull off that last, massive drive to close those liquidity gaps. What we're witnessing now does not mean anything bad is going to happen. Just like a CME gap, the following step up doesn't have to happen immediately. Sometimes, CME spaces are not filled in. We just seen one of these things fill up, but there's still time to go lower for that liquidity grab, before this thing is blasted off and enters supercycle mode, which happens about 90% of the time. Do we fill up, or do we seize that bottom-up liquidity? Is it enough to simply push up to this point? Or do we need to figure out how to tell when we've broken out? Anything over 72, 74, 008 is too much. I like to refer to anything over that range as 74,000 Bitcoin, is currently trading at 125 to 150 USD, on a supercycle like you've never seen before. As many as 175,000 lots of individuals will be getting out of the Bitcoin market next year. But this bull run will continue until 2025. That is what we are focusing on. It is a thrilling period. Over 136 people have joined my Patreon group, so I'll be adding this to my posts there. I had much more members in the past. When we were in the last bull run, I used to do Patreon, and I can tell you it was practically my full-time work. Now that we've backed off a bit, we're getting back on track, and we'll enter these bullish periods when I reveal my holdings. I know that many of you are probably thinking that it's too late to reveal yours. Rest assured, it is not. All of these coins were bought during the previous week or two, with the exception of one that was bought at the end of February, which is close to the date I bought them. I just bought everything, and my XRP bag and HBAR bag aren't on this list. There are 15 different cryptocurrencies that are now trading at various price points. It details the date of purchase in addition to the percentage that I invested in each. It's as easy as that. Ordinarily, I would anticipate that this bag would fetch me anywhere between $500,000 and $1 million. Out of 5, I will look stunning. In my opinion, many of these are going for far more than 5x. However, as you are aware, I am a pretty conservative man, therefore our predictions reflect that. Here are some Patreon groups you can join if you're interested. Who among us recalls the Paris FinTech Forum and the Snowed Schools? It was Brad Garlin House. In this one, Swift's former CEO Gilbert Gottfried and Brad were both on stage. Pay attention to Brad. GPI is a significant improvement. For 40 years or more, we had a framework for the operation of cross-border correspondent banking. That was successful. However, there were many restrictions. We are witnessing the advancement of it. If I may say so, it's an improvement over the old horse and buggy method when you ask, can we make the horse's body go faster? Of course. However, let's just switch to a Ferrari if that's possible. Nevertheless, GPI, as soon as you're correct, you're correct. Who needs to speed up the horse and buggy anyway? A Ferrari would be the best option for you. Compared to Walmart, he says, we're not like Amazon. Yes. Whipped is quite popular. So did AOL, he adds. Oh no. Brad, I really appreciate that. Since Bob Way, one of the 7 original employees at Ripple, told us about his run-in, we've known. When Bob had that altercation with Swift's upper management, he also filled them in on Ripple's current initiatives, and how they are addressing the problem of international money transfers. Returning to the drafting board, Swift sprinted. This occurred during their very own Sibyl's convention. They also began to plan ahead, create, and innovate in a different way. In that way, GPI can bend. Even without Ripple's involvement in this payment method, Swift would have been operating as usual for the last 4 decades. They aren't going to get better, and I need to know what Swift GPI is. We don't really care if it lets you keep tabs on your finances. Ripple is solving an issue worth more than $10 trillion, and it is still using old Vostro accounts. By providing these financial institutions with the means to utilize on-demand liquidity, a digital asset, they are removing counterparty risk. Furthermore, these banks are under no obligation to maintain XRP. They can just use XRP as a bridge to access the network. Crypto hello, I. Share this with your cord doc and mention that selling XRP generates almost all of Ripple's revenue. Any potential changes to this are of interest to me. In 2024, HSBC, Ripple, and Mateco will work together to supplement the bank's infrastructure with the issuance of tokens representing ownership of physical gold using a DLT. In the aftermath of the Ripple v. SEC case, the only remaining question is how the company will be able to continue selling XRP to large institutional investors. End of story. We are down to just one item. And that will be resolved. It will be fascinating to observe HSBC's actions in this matter, particularly in relation to tokenizing a gold man. Nothing compares to the rewards that Robbie put out with the top project on the XRP ledger, Lux Lines. The video ends there. As always, I'd appreciate it if you could subscribe and leave a comment with your opinions. Coming up shortly, farewell.